Between some of the world's highest mountains lies Kashmir, a beautiful valley shaped by rivers, forests, cultures, and thousands of years of history. Surrounded by mountains and connected by ancient passes, Kashmir became a meeting place between South Asia, Central Asia, and the Himalayas. Long before modern borders existed, communities settled here, farming fertile land and adapting their lives to Kashmir's rivers, lakes, and changing seasons. Fertile soils and abundant water supported agriculture, while mountain routes brought merchants, travelers, scholars, and religious teachers into the valley. Ancient traditions regarded Kashmir as a sacred land, while the valley gradually became an important center of learning and religious culture. By the 3rd century BCE, Buddhism had reached Kashmir, which became an important center of Buddhist learning and scholarship. Kashmiri monks and scholars traveled beyond the mountains, helping spread Buddhist knowledge and connect distant communities across Asia. Hindu traditions, especially Shaivism, also flourished in Kashmir, producing influential philosophy, temples, sculpture, and rich literary traditions. Kashmir became famous for scholarship, philosophy, literature, sculpture, and art, attracting intellectual and cultural influences from across the region. In the 7th and 8th centuries, the Karkota dynasty strengthened Kashmir, with Lalitaditya remembered as its most celebrated ruler. After the Karkota period, Kashmir passed through several ruling dynasties, while its traditions of scholarship, art, and religion continued to evolve. By the medieval period, Kashmir had developed a sophisticated literary tradition, with Sanskrit scholarship playing an important role in intellectual life. One remarkable Kashmiri historian was Kalhana, whose 12th century Raja Taranggini chronicled the region's rulers and became an important historical source. During the 14th century, Kashmir entered a major transition as Islam became increasingly influential alongside the valley's older religious traditions. The Shah Mir dynasty emerged in the 14th century, beginning a new era of Muslim political rule in Kashmir. Among Kashmir's most remembered rulers was Zain-ul-Abidin, whose reign became associated with cultural development, craftsmanship, and relative religious tolerance. Kashmiri craftsmen became renowned for textiles, wood carving, metalwork, and other traditional arts that would remain important for centuries. Kashmir's location also encouraged trade, connecting the valley with merchants traveling through the Himalayan and Central Asian mountain routes. In the 16th century, the Mughal Empire expanded toward Kashmir, bringing the valley into a much larger imperial world. Emperor Akbar brought Kashmir under Mughal control in 1586, beginning a period that would leave a lasting mark on the valley. Under Mughal rule, Kashmir became famous among emperors and nobles for its gardens, lakes, mountains, cool climate, and extraordinary natural beauty. Emperor Jahangir became particularly fascinated by Kashmir, famously describing its landscapes with admiration. During his repeated visits to the valley, the Mughals built magnificent gardens in Kashmir, combining flowing water, terraces, trees, and architecture into carefully designed landscapes of extraordinary beauty. But Mughal control eventually weakened, and in the 18th century, Kashmir came under the rule of the Afghan Durrani Empire. Afghan rule lasted for several decades. Before Sikh forces under Maharaja Ranjit Singh expanded their influence into Kashmir in 1822. Sikh rule was relatively brief, lasting until 1862, when the political map of Kashmir changed dramatically once again. In 1862, following the First Anglo-Sikh War, Gulab Singh became Maharaja of the newly established princely state of Jammu and Kashmir. The new princely state covered a vast and diverse territory, including Jammu, Kashmir, Ladakh, and other Himalayan regions. Under Dogra rule, Kashmir remained a diverse society with different religious, linguistic, ethnic, and regional communities living across the princely state. By the 20th century, political awareness was growing as people increasingly demanded greater representation, reforms, and a stronger voice in governing their future. In 1947, British India was partitioned into India and Pakistan, while princely states were required to decide their future political alignment. The Maharaja of Jammu and Kashmir initially remained undecided, while political pressure and violence increasingly surrounded the princely state. In October 1947, armed fighting spread into the region, and the Maharaja signed an instrument of accession to India. Fighting between Indian and Pakistani forces expanded, turning Kashmir into the center of the first major conflict between the two new states. The conflict reached the United Nations in 1948, which established a commission and supported efforts to end the fighting. A ceasefire took effect in 1949, creating a ceasefire line that divided areas controlled by India and Pakistan. The division transformed everyday life, separating families, communities, trade routes, and historic connections across the mountainous region. Tensions continued through the following decades, including another major India-Pakistan war in 1965, with Kashmir again at the center of fighting. After the 1971 India-Pakistan War, the 1972 Simla Agreement established the line of control and committed both sides to peaceful relations. Yet Kashmir's story did not end with the agreement. Political tensions, competing claims, and conflict would continue shaping the region's modern history. By the late E2 Kashmir entered a new period of insurgency, political unrest, and violence that would profoundly affect everyday life. The conflict caused widespread suffering, displacement, and loss of life, affecting Kashmiri Muslims, Kashmiri Pandits, and other communities across the region. In 1999, fighting erupted around Kargil, where Indian and Pakistani forces battled for strategic mountain positions along the line of control. In August 2019, India revoked Article 370, ending Jammu and Kashmir's special constitutional status and reorganizing the region under new administrative arrangements. Through kingdoms, empires, migrations, conflicts, and changing borders, Kashmir's greatest constant has remained its people, culture, mountains, and enduring connection to the valley.